Welcome back here on Prime Morning, and good morning to you if you're joining us. And if you're coming here on the first time, we'd like to say a big thank you to you for choosing us and making us number one, and always stay with us here on the show. Don't forget that it's highly interactive, and so you can be a part of our conversations here on the show every time by going on our social media page. On Facebook, we stream live. You can drop your messages in real time, and you can also do so on our WhatsApp, and we'll definitely read from you as well. Let's say a big thank you to Nutri Snacks this morning for making it happen. As always, it's the best on the market, and I keep saying this because I know how it tastes. And the good thing is that once you grab one, you grab others for the family, because it's a very, very, big family tree, all right? So please go ahead and grab yours. It's nutritious, it's delicious, and especially the kids always want it. So please do go ahead into the supermarkets, the shops, wherever you find yourself, say you're looking for Nutri Snacks, and trust me, you will never, ever be disappointed. That's what it is. Big Chef is coming, and we're still letting you know that the contestants are getting ready to bring you an excitement of a lifetime. If you're one person who loves to cook and you're looking for some new recipes, Big Chef Junior will definitely bring you even that and more. And so please do well to, stay on when we begin with that as well. Step Up comes your way every Sunday at 7:30 p.m. It's great feeling to be on that show, because a lot of people come, they have fun, they win some money, some are disappointed. In between that, there's entertainment for you. So please do well to catch 7:30 p.m. Every Sunday and enjoy the very best. It prepares you for the week ahead, and especially for a Monday. And so do well to watch. George Quay and Mercury Quay will be there to give you all the entertainment you need, whilst you also make some money in the comfort of your home. Our sponsors are ensuring that happens, all right? So keep it going. On the 23rd of December, FIA will be in concert, and the Accra International Conference Center will be the venue. Grab your tickets now, and let's have a great time together. It's going to be an electrifying night. You do not want to miss out on any of that. So please come in your numbers. Let's see the Queen, get on stage and give us that show we've always wanted. This is going to be the first time in the last 3 years or so that, she'll be doing something like that. So you don't want to miss out. The energy is there. And so we'll see you at the conference center on the 23rd. And even before that, on the 22nd, Stonebwoy will be at the stadium, and the tickets have gone wild. And trust me, it's already a sold-out show. So please grab your tickets if you've not had your tickets yet, and let's meet at the stadium for the Beam concert. It's the biggest you can ever be, and so please do well. Let's make it happen. And our very own Afia Asantewa would also be doing a thing with a sing-a-thon, and it's happening at the Akwaba village at the airport. That's where all the action will be. I've seen the setup, as at last night, I've seen some of the things that they are doing to ensure that it becomes a success, and trust me, you will love that experience. And so please do come through from the 24th to the 27th, and some 9 hours, she'll be doing this, and she's singing almost about 3,000 plus songs. It's going to be, a long ride. I don't know whether to freedom or whether to liberation or whatever it is, but maybe to greatness, So yeah, do well to come through, and let's have a good time together as well. There are some more things that I'll be sharing with you here on the show as we progress. But in the meantime, let me introduce my guest in the studio, and then we'll go on the front pages of the newspapers. We've got our major conversation also coming as well. So I've been joined in the studio by Adel, Sheick Umar, as the National Communication Team member for the NDC, and also the Director of Operations, Greater Accra Youth Wing, the NDC. And he's here in the studio with me. As always, Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh.
Sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
When I mention the Prophet's name, that is when you say that.
Yeah, but I was expecting you to mention the Prophet. Yeah, the Prophet Muhammad, then I say.
I know, right? I know.
Good to see you, my brother.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. I'm good. I'm great.
Awesome. And also in the studio, Palgrave Boakye-Danquah as the government spokesperson on governance and security, NPP, and also the man for Buakwa North. And he's been doing a lot of work, So if you're looking for him and you don't find him, go to Buakwa North, you see him there. He's almost every time over there, ensuring that, the people get to know that there's a new force. Coming through and so yeah, indeed. Good to see you, Palgrave.
Good to see you too, KMJ, and a very good morning to you. You look splendid and elegant as always.
But I like the brand. Maybe I'll keep this.
I'm picking my phone today.
We spoke about it last
Yes,
week.
I'm picking my phone today, and I want to thank God for the real opportunity that He's given to me to really serve. This morning when I woke up at about 3 a.m. before I left the constituency to come to Accra, it was a prayer of thanksgiving, really, to God for the opportunity, because not many people can have this opportunity to serve their constituents and even serve in the political party. So I'd like to also thank the New Patriotic Party for the platform that is given for young people like us to share a lot more of ideas. The contest that we are going into in the Boakye North, and even by and large, the internal primaries of the New Patriotic Party, it's not a show of wealth or affluence. It's not a show of money. It's not a combat of who can give what gift and who cannot give what gift. I think that is a lot more about the future of the constituents, and that's what I'm going to be campaigning on. But the good news, really, KMJ, is that today is Wukudai, and tradition demands that I greet the Osajifo Amwetio for a penny, who is the 35th king of the Achime Boakye, and also greet the Oseadia Yokwesi Kufu the third, who is the Omahin of the Kwapim traditional area, and really bring very strong congratulations to Katachi Abebio Boakye-Danquah the second, who is the Trafuhene of Achime Boakye. And so, as today is Wukudai, we would pass through the various traditions to greet our ancestors.
Yeah, very necessary.
Ask for their blessings as we ask for the blessings of God as well.
Awesome. So that's all you need to know with regards to, the candidacy of the man PBD. But don't forget that we'll be bringing you some updates on that as well, the picking of the forms and all of that, and how it's going to go. Hopefully tomorrow we'll bring you some updates on that. The NPP is, getting closer and closer to making some very good decisions and all of that, as against the elections in 2024. So we see how all that pans out. But let's check out the front page of the Daily Graphic this morning. It says, low turnout marks district level elections, and came with its own issues. We're going to be delving into that as well. Sheick punishes AI-assisted candidates with holds WASE results. Page 13 has got the story on that. President urges citizens to adopt healthy lifestyles. Page 24, 25 also has the story. You can read about it. The second coming of Nkrumah thrills patrons at AICC. That was put together by Latif Abubakar. I was there to see it myself. And trust me, it's indeed a good play. If you have not seen it, anytime that is staged again, please do well to go and check it out. You would love it. You would love it. My best character in that was the security guard for Nkrumah. A very hilarious guy. Played a very good role as well. Cleanest city agenda, Accra losing filth battle. There's a big question mark over there at the back page of the Daily Graphic. And also, we're going to check out the Finder this morning. And it said, safeguard attracting private capital in lithium, debates Chamber of Mines, and EC reshuffles district level elections in parts of Ashanti and Eastern regions. Prices of livestock go up ahead of Christmas. The best cathedral is anti-LGBTQIA+. Lawyer Forum when he speaks on that. And the turnout low again in peaceful district assembly elections. Keyword over here is peaceful. Well, that's something good, if nothing at all. And so, we'll be speaking on that issue, like I said earlier, and so we'll bring you some updates on that. The Ghanaian publisher says Akufo-Addo launches NACAP evaluation reports, and SML fight of $100 million ghost contracts. And this was put together by the fourth estate led by Manasseh. And yesterday we mentioned briefly some of the issues that have come out with this one as well. So, I'm sure the coming days will be delving into this issue even more. Asenso Boakye consoles race course fire victims, and Selina Kudaze wins 2023 Happy Bible Quiz. And that's some updates that you can also get with regards to that as well. So very much so, the newspapers. Do I have the ABC News? If I have the other one on the screens. Maybe I could take that one real quick, and then we'll come back to the issues that we have for this morning. Please try and project that for me if we have that, that of the ABC newspaper. Maybe I can go through that real quick, and then okay. So let me try and see if I have it over here. And the New Crusading Guide, OSP, is independent. That's on the front page of the New Crusading Guide. Do I have the ABC newspaper? Okay. Let me try and see what the Chronicle says. Akufo-Addo's fight against corruption continues unabated. Evaluate progress made so far tomorrow. And SML denies receiving $100 million annually from government. That's also on the front page of the Chronicle. And Nana Poku as Offenso elect. That's also captured on the front page of the Chronicle. The Daily Dispatch says government has spent 12 billion Ghana cedis on free SHS as enrollment reaches 10.4 million in 2023. And a review of the book Rendering Public Service is also captured on the front page of the Daily Dispatch. And phase 2 of National Service Scheme's identity verification project takes off, and that's also the Daily Dispatch reporting on that as well. That will be all for the Daily Dispatch this morning, and maybe we wrap up for the front pages of the various newspapers this morning here. We're going to be getting into the major issues, but do not forget to send us your messages and let us know what you think about the issues we're talking about. Our WhatsApp line is very active. You can drop your messages over there. We'll read them here on the show. And also, you can go on our social media pages, Joy Prime, and it's on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. You can drop your messages over there, and we'll read from you as well. So you may have heard about the new force and the spokesperson who has been in deep waters ever since she came out to speak on how the unveiling processes was going to be looking like. Right after that, speech, there were reports that she's been arrested for alleged declaration against permits, residential permits. Now, as of yesterday, there was a new development. So I'm going to walk you through the entire situation just a bit so that you get to understand what exactly happened. So let's start from where it all started yesterday. So the spokesperson for the New Force political movement, Shalimar, was actually rearrested after a charge of obtaining a student permit with false declaration against her was withdrawn. Now, in court yesterday, the prosecutors came and they said that they have dropped the charges against her. That means that she was, allowed to leave. Now, just after she's left the courtroom, she was rearrested by GIS, and I'm talking about the Ghana Immigration Service. Now, as to why she was arrested at that time again, it was a bit unknown yesterday as at the time that, she was arrested. But later, it was found out that she still has issues with the residential permits that and the documents she provided for those permits that she did. And so the GIS actually arrested her again from that period. The lawyers wanted to find out exactly what the situation was, but they were not able to do so as at that moment. And so the GIS officials told them that they can come to the office and seek for clarification. But there was also another issue of, the way she was handled, which we're going to be looking into that. But as at this moment that I speak to you right now, she's been deported. Yes, she's been deported. She was deported at 10 p.m. last night. And right after she was, taken off the courts, there were processes for documentation so that she can, be deported to go back to her country, which is Belgium. Now, she was charged with false declaration and false documents to obtain residence permits. She was granted bail for over 20,000 Ghana cedis, and she was actually, given bail. And then she was made to appear in court again, and that is where the charges were dropped, and then she was rearrested again. Don't forget that her case is a criminal offense, and that's per the Article 29. Anything that has to do with false documentation to obtain permit or anything like that, according to Article 29, is a criminal case. As to what the lawyers can do right now, it seems there's nothing much they can do. An interaction with a lawyer actually indicated that if they want to find out whatever it is, they can go to GIS and find out. But the problem right now is that she's been deported, and she was deported at 10 p.m. yesterday. So that's how the whole situation looks like. Now, some people are of the opinion that the whole arrest, was to find out who was behind the movement itself, until investigations proved that she had documents, alleged forgery of some documents that, had to do with her permit here in Ghana, her residence permit here in Ghana. Even the school that was stated that she used their document to facilitate her residential permit, the investigations found out that it was untrue. And so that's the Ghana Christian University College. Now, investigation proved that it was untrue. And that is the reason why we got to where we have got into right now. So we're trying to see if we can raise Lawyer Sosu on the line to let us know what the situation looks like for them now. But according to reports that we got yesterday, they were very, very disappointed about the entire situation. But as and when we're able to raise him, we'll find out, what exactly, they stand with regards to this. But the new news is that she's been sent back to her country. Let me start with Adel. Adel, so, this is how the entire situation looks like for Shalimar.
KMJ, when the police arrest you, pretty much not when they even arrest you, when the police decides that they need you to aid in whatever investigations they want you to aid, the first thing they usually will do is to call you, place a call to you, and say, we would need you to assist in A, B, C, D. When you flout that, sometimes they will call again for the second time. And then when you flout that as well, they move into arrest you. Now, arrest in itself is allowed and it's legal. I believe strongly that from the initial arrest that she was arrested, and the people that are speaking about the fact that, she probably want to find out the reality of the case, which political party is it, who is it that is behind the scenes and the likes. Well, that is fair enough. I believe that the national security can actually invite a person in and ask them, okay, so we want to know, this is your political party, blah, 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 who do you belong to? They could have done that. Now, you go to court, and then the court, you decide as a prosecutor, to drop all charges. And then once you have done that, before then, Lawyer Sosu has indicated that you've invited us the week before, you invited us about 3 times. We showed up. We came. We showed our faces. So you could have easily just told us that, look, come to the Ghana Immigration Service. We'd like to meet you. We want to have a conversation with you regarding the same documentations, not in the style in which we found itself that happened yesterday. Because I watched the video. It was quite, disturbing, pushing her into the vehicle, Lawyer Sosu saying, look.
Well, she's got every right to, if she feels that her rights
but it shouldn't
infringed upon.
The people who are supposed to enforce the law should not be seen in this kind of acts. So much such that you will do it and finish it, and then now we have to come and discuss whether she should go to court and, sue. No, it shouldn't
Interestingly, speaking to a lawyer, she found nothing wrong with the way she was handled.
Well,
because within the jurisdiction of the GIS, they've got every right to handle situations of that nature the way they did. But if she feels her rights has been infringed upon in any way, her lawyers can still go ahead and.
It's fine. Look, people are talking about the fact that there are other ways this could have been handled. You could have officially invited her. Somebody may have been the one responsible to indicate that the documentations that she has or the documentation she used to acquire her residency is faulty. Certainly from the what? Certainly from the Ghana Immigration Service. Just what I'm saying. It is not the police who would look into that. It is the Ghana Immigration Service who would basically find out whatever information that went into it for her to acquire what she acquired. And then in that sense, be able to hold her responsible for it. So if you've invited her, she's gone to court. Through the court process, she's been released. In fact, the judge indicated that BNI should even release her cell phone to us because after they checked it, they realized there was really nothing on the cell phone. You could easily do that, KMJ, and then once that is done and is sorted out, you invite her officially to come over. But pushing, all around, and then there are cameras all over the place, and then the mom is crying and the dad is crying. Look, they say it's a new force. There's even a conversation about whether she had the right to work for them, as a public relations,
work permits and all that.
Work permit and all of that. It's a political party. They say they're setting up. Everybody has a way of unveiling what they want to do. This is their process of unveiling what they want to do. Some years back, if you remember KMJ, we had this group that was called the Dark Suburb, you know, and then they had all the masks.
You have to
and all
take
of
me
that.
back to that.
You know, they had all the masks and all of that. You know, it's a way of unveiling. It's a way of telling a story. For them, this is how we're going to unveil ourselves. Small, 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 until the mask starts going off. Small, small, small. Eventually, we see the face behind it. It's fine. It's okay. The government has all the agencies under it to be able to investigate this. I mean, there are so many ways they can find out who is behind this. So for me, I think that, look,
but was that not
the low side?
A way of trying to find out that, you know?
No, look,
because
the issue
the spokesperson, she's got
when
details of who they are and
no
what
problem,
they represent.
no problem. So when you send her away, do you get the details? I mean, at the end of the day,
Maybe now they've been able to retrieve every information that would make them want to continue their investigations.
okay, so fair enough. Perhaps they have gotten all that information. It's fine. I'm saying that Ghana Immigration Service has the power to deport anybody at any time. They do. This is not even something you want to fight over, unless otherwise they want to tell us that they were under an impression that she was going to run away and hide somewhere in Ghana, which I don't think will be possible.
Which could also be the case.
It could be, but I'm saying that I don't want to believe that, you know, her lawyer is here. You understand? She's been given bail. Somebody would have signed for it. You know, so she doesn't just get up and run away. Whatever the situation is, I am saying that in as much as you had the power to do all those things, there are certain things that you just have to find a way of doing. She's a Belgian citizen. She's not a Ghanaian. We start here. We arrested what do you call her?
Aisha?
Aisha 1. With all the mess that she created, look how she was handled and eventually made to go away for free. You know, it may be I didn't. So this thing could have
Aisha is not going away for free.
I mean, she went away the first time for free.
Okay.
You know, until she came back. So I'm saying that KMJ, there are ways to handle these things. Let's get better. You know, let's get better at you know, as a state. Shalimar, I mean, any corner be or she be wants to find it, don't find it. You know, so it's on the low side for me.
Okay, very well. Palgrave.
KMJ, you know, the 2024 general election for our country is a very important one. And the issue that has happened with the new falls, I woke up one morning driving into town into work, and all of a sudden I started seeing the new falls billboard.
Lots of them.
I snapped a picture of it. I was very concerned, very, very deeply concerned, because we are in an ecosystem and in a sub-region of West Africa where we are dealing with major threats. From a security angle, we're dealing with the threats of terrorism. We're dealing with some suspicions of undertones of people desiring to cause mayhem. And so in a new generation, in terms of Gen Z, in terms of young people and how advantageous and innovative that they can be, if you find billboards that are scattered the length and breadth of this country, not just Accra, not just Kumasi, not just Koforidua, not just Tamale, not just Bolga, not just Wa, not just Cape Coast, not just Volta region, not just Uti region, not just Bono, not just Bono East. It's scattered the entire country. You should be concerned. KMJ, 29 years ago, and I mentioned that this year I had an opportunity to go to Kigali, and one of my major reasons of going there was for the UN Peacekeeping Ministerial in our preparation to host the meeting, which was held in this country, but also to visit the genocide. 29 years ago, between the 7th of April to the 15th of April 1994, millions of Rwandese were killed. What was the background? And I like to bring this in reference. The Belgians have a history, okay? So the Belgians gave majority of political control to the Tutsis. And if you remember, the genocide was between the Hutus and the Tutsis. Millions of people. At the time, Rwanda had a population of about 7 million. Almost 2 million of them were killed. And so really, it's important for us as a country that in the lead up to the 2024 general election, anything that seems as a threat, anything that seems untoward, anything that seems unorthodox and out of the ordinary, we must raise eyebrows. It's a huge concern for a Belgian citizen to come into our eco space and to want to become a political player, however you put it. I, Palgrave, will not have an opportunity to go to the United States of America or to go to Belgium or to go to Germany or to go to London as a visitor and be involved in the echo space of the political conversation ongoing. I cannot. And so it's important that we circumvent and raise the issue from that level. It's wrong for her to be involved in our ecosystem when she's not a citizen of this country. That's number one. Now, number two, the court has raised issues. The immigration has acted. And I think that this is one of the foremost first time that we are seeing the immigration hold on onto the law and be involved in the space.
Visibly.
Visibly.
Yeah.
Visibly.
Yeah.
Which is very, very key because we are aware that there is almost always an overlapping role between the internal security of the country, which is supposed to be handled by the Ghana Police Service, and then also border issues and immigration issues and working permit issues and resident issues that the immigration comes to force. And we must commend the immigration, and even commend the government of Ghana for immediately sending her out of this country, for her country to now further on pick up these issues. In this country and even around the world, we are a sovereign country. We cannot allow anyone who is not a participant of our democracy to come in and be a player in it. I'm glad that a strong warning and signal has been sent out there because Ghana is a sovereign country. We are independent people. We can manage our own affairs. If anybody wants to be part of the political players, I think that the Constitution allows it as a multi-party democracy for people to be part of that. I don't doubt their innovation of putting on a mask. I don't know who is behind this mask, but it's important that we do not cause fear and panic. Because my children ask me, Daddy, who is the new force? And I don't have answers to that. And I think that we need to be able to play it out very well. I will commend the court, I will commend the immigration, and commend the entire state institutions for ensuring that the right thing is done. And we would wish her the best in her endeavors in Belgium. Nobody in this country, no Ghanaian citizen, no African, can go to any European country and do what she has done.
The issue of the new force and who's behind it, I think right from the onset, there were questions raised about, who this new force is. Some people even still think that it's just setting government apparatus trying as much as possible to let people believe that you do not have, the rights to also come out and say you want to be. Is it about the way they went about it? The unveiling and the whole hidden identity, or it's just that we're not ready to accept anybody who thinks they also have, the right to come up and say they want to be a politician or what, anything of the sort?
KMJ, listen. There are several ways of marketing. Look, we go to school, we're being taught so many things. I don't personally believe that the way that they chose to unveil their mask is a problem. It cannot be a problem.
It's not a security issue like Palgrave is mentioning, the way the entire billboards are scattered almost everywhere in the country.
So yes, fine. So you scattered billboards, it says the new force. Find out. Government goes in to find out. You have to go in to find out who is responsible for it. There's a company that put up the billboard. Is it DDP? Okay, who gave you that? Where's the phone number? Who is it? You've already seen interviews and stuff done by the lady. It's not, no two ways about it. I am not here to say that, okay, Shalimar being deported is a problem. No. I'm saying the Ghana Immigration Service has the right to do anything possible. The Ghana Police Service has the right to do anything possible to make sure that this country is at peace. And I agree, no two ways about it. I'm saying the manner in which it is handled. In any case, as we speak today, whoever is in charge of the new force can decide to bring in a Ghanaian and say, okay, no problem. Tomorrow, I want KMJ, I want Adel, I want Paul to probably be the new PRO. Does it take it away? No. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that the problem still exists. The fact that you've taken Shalimar out of the entire space, you've just taken one person and thrown her out. She doesn't own it. Now, if she does own it, then it's dead and gone. But you've taken her, you've deported her, but the existence, the organization as it is, still exists. Are the billboards not still there? There's one at Kaukudi. It is still there. How is the problem solved? Paul's daughter is still seeing the billboard. What has changed? You understand what I'm saying? So I'm saying that, yes, you did all of that in the Rambo style and all of that. Somebody, by now, I am expecting that, hopefully, I'm hearing that perhaps there might be a press conference today. Hopefully, by the end of the press conference today, they should be able to tell us that, okay, this is the person that is responsible for it. We have invited the person in, blah, blah, blah. If the government felt, and this goes to Paul, if the government felt that it is the nature of work she is doing or the new force and its whole ideology is what the problem is, why are they arresting her on issues regarding to her residency permit? It just doesn't make any sense.
But that's also another serious issue.
So yes, no problem. No problem. So amongst the charges, you could have indicated, who are you? Where are you coming from? You know, on what basis are you involved in political activities in our country? None of that shown on the charge sheet. None of that. So you're saying, on one breath, you're saying the group is a problem. On the other breath, you're saying, oh, it's just her residence and we sent her away. So there's nothing wrong with the billboards. And then he says there's everything wrong with the billboards. Fine. Let us know what the realities are. If the government is interested in finding out who is behind it, they should be telling us. They have every single detail. They have every single force behind them to be able to ascertain who is behind it. And if you take Shalimar out, it doesn't take the organization out. If the organization is a Ghanaian organization and it's registered and registered, you know, I can choose to register a political party tomorrow. I wouldn't do that though, because I love the NDC. But I'm saying that if I wanted to register it, and I registered it, and I had some friends here and there who are willing to come and support, we can talk about international financing and all of that. And I know where he's going into, you know, perhaps an international financing. All of that can be investigated. But the government is not telling us that that is the problem. If you want to tell us that is the problem, prosecution should have indicated it. And then you drop the charges. You say you checked her phone, there's nothing on the phone. You say, give her back your phone. You say you've deported it. The organization is still in existence. What have you done?
So the approach was the wrong one?
I'm saying, at the end of the day, if what Paul is saying is what it is, there is fear. It is Belgium. We've seen what happened in Rwanda. We've seen what happened. If that is the case, then the way it was handled was poorly handled. Because it's you telling us something else in the courts and we hearing something else on the media. Tell us what the problem is. If you're suspecting that, yes, this is a major problem that needs to be dealt with, you deal with it right from the beginning, from the courts. But the reasons for which you are deporting her is different from what we are hearing. You are telling us that you're deporting because her documentation is what?
Yeah.
Right? Then we're having conversations of the fact that this thing is scary. Who are they? 2024 elections is coming. It's very, very scary. What?
So it still goes on to say that the whole thing is not about who is behind the new force or they are not.
That is what I'm saying. That is why I'm a bit.
But it's the fact that an investigation went into somebody who is representing the new force, and we realized that she's been living here illegally.
Fair enough, and I'm saying that.
And that now becomes the big deal.
Okay, so it's a big deal. She's been deported. The new force is still in existence. Their billboards are still all over the place. Why has it not been taken down? It's still there. The organization is still there. Tomorrow they would have a new person to be a PRO. Does it take away the threat? That's what I'm asking. You're playing with it at the top. Like I say, you know, you're just playing with it. The organization is in existence. They still have their money. They're still putting up billboards and everything all over the place. You have taken Shalimar, which is one person representing them as a PRO. That can be replaced. What have you done?
Richard Kujunyako works with the Multimedia Group as my colleague, and he's been following this issue very keenly. In fact, as of last night, he was still chasing that issue to be sure what exactly happened at the end of the day. And he gave us the update on the fact that she's been deported at 10 p.m. last night. Richard, good morning. How are you doing, bro?
Good morning. I'm good. I hope you're fine.
I'm very well, and thanks for your time this morning, and good to have you on the show. Great. Kindly speak up for me so I can hear you properly. Now, she's been deported as of 10 p.m. yesterday. What's the lawyers, next step? Have they told you anything about what they intend to do, and how do they feel about this whole situation?
Well, so her lawyer, Francis Xavier, yesterday around 6 p.m. I had a chat with him, and he indicated that he has filed some processes at the Human Rights Court. The fact that he indicates that the fundamental human rights of his clients were trampled upon, and so he's ready to battle it out at the Human Rights Court. But most especially, he says that when they revoked the permit of Shalimar, what they expected was that she will be handed over to them to pay her adequately, because she had within 34 hours to leave the country. but nothing of that sort happened. In fact, they were not allowed access to the lady until 10 p.m. when the state had made all the travel arrangements for her to leave the country. So she left at 10 p.m. Brussels Air, and then on their way to Belgium. I don't know whether they have arrived as of this morning, but that is what has been happening.
So there's a big problem with why she was arrested, and if indeed it was because of the movement that she was arrested, or it's the movement arrest that led into knowing that her documents were, false documents in terms of a residential permit. What has been the findings? Was it about the new movement, or it was just that there was a chase and she happened to have found herself in that situation?
So you cannot only say that she was arrested because they found that her documents were not okay, or there were some fraud with the documents. In court, I heard the prosecutor say that the state is interested in her mission in the country because per her document, she was supposed to be a student of the Ghana Christian University College. But when the state go to the university indicated that they do not have her as a student, or she's not a student of that particular institution. And so engaging in the act or meddling in the politics of this country, something that she has no permit to do, is what they chased her for. But more importantly, the political or the partisan nature or the partisan discussion did not arise in court. It was only the breaches in the Immigration Act that she was charged for. And so there was nothing. In fact, we were expecting that we'll see some people that are purported to be affiliated or be behind the third force, but we gleaned nose around, but we couldn't find anything like that. The information I gleaned on her was that she was a model and she was contracted by an agent to be the face of this new spokesperson. So, when movements of this nature start like that, they need someone to fund it. And so, if you speak of the third force today, the only person you can put your chest to say that just is a member of the third force is Shalimar Abbiusi. In fact, during the flood, the water disaster, the spillage of the water dam, she went there, interacted with someone like Palgrave, doing a lot of philanthropic work and all of that. We heard in the conversation when we had with the people that came to support or lend their support to her when she appeared in court last week, that she has been doing a lot in the community, and they see her as Circle doing a lot with her. So as for the political element, it was not what she was prosecuted on, but she was prosecuted on the immigration breaches that she found herself in.
Finally, the sharp twist, getting into the court. Prosecutor says they've dropped the case. And then you come out, the next thing you've been rearrested.
Yes. So last week, when we left the court, the only determination for this week, when the case was called yesterday, was to establish whether indeed she was a student at the Ghana Christian University College. But just as the case was called, the prosecutor stood up and said that the state is dropping the charge against Shalimar, and so she's free to go. This, appeared awkward to the lawyers of Shalimar, because they expected that at least the state would go on. And so after the charges were dropped and an application for the release of her iPhone 13 was made by her lawyers and other documents that were seized during her arrest, the court ordered that the phone be released and the other document be released to her. And then she was also subsequently discharged from the court. But when she stepped out, the immigration van was already there waiting. And then she was rearrested by the immigration officials and then whisked away. In fact, her parents were there, and they shed a lot of tears, and they had to drive and follow the immigration van. And so it was really drama. It was quite a scene, but it is what it is.
Very well. Thank you so much, my brother, for making time for us this morning. We'll be coming to you for any other updates from the lawyers, especially if anything like that comes up. We really appreciate your time, my brother.
All right. Thank you.
Great. And that's Richard Kojunyako, who works with the multimedia group, and my colleague over there telling us some other updates that we need to know about Shalimar's arrest and the possible, indications of the lawyers and what they want to do with regards to the human rights aspect of the whole situation. That's how she was, taken from the courts by GIS. As of last night, she was just moved straight from there to the BNI. So my sources at the immigration told me that from where it is getting to right now, it looks like she'll be going back to her country that night.
Good news for Ghana that Shalimar is gone back to her country. I'm certain that she enjoyed a peaceful flight and a smooth one with very minimal challenges on the flight. I mean, if you look at this time, 7 o'clock in Ghana, I'm sure she's just arrived. I don't know the Belgium rules, but maybe she'll be picked up by immigration and sent for debriefing, and she would go through the right thing. But really, KMJ, it's not a challenge with how people go about launching of their political interest and desire. But I have proposed that there are 4 P's to political leadership and political campaigning. The first question to ask is, what's your passion? Why do you want to do what you're doing? What's your purpose? What's the purpose for which the New Force has launched itself in a masked way? What's the purpose? And what's the product? What's the end product? What do you want to achieve at the end of the day? And what's the process that you want to use? And so those are the questions that people are raising, because it's almost like it's a put-off to people. I mean, it's because it's a put-off to people who feel that you had a very good opportunity to launch yourself in a very good way, rather than,
without any drama
if you want, because you want to be able to lead people. If you want to lead people, why do you hide yourself? Because it speaks volumes of identity crisis. I mean, and there are various ways you can look at this issue. But I'm glad that as a state, we have made our cases very strongly and very firmly. We have stated that you cannot purport to be illegally resident in Ghana, purport to be a student of a university, and I commend the university as well for being truthful and integral in their report by stating very clearly that she's not a member of the student body and she's not having any admission in the school. That's very, very key. And so all of these are forgery. And it's important that if you are coming into the country, you're a model. We don't, I don't want to say we don't care, but literally, we don't care who you are. You can't just come and want to be involved in our political ecosystem and our political space. This is Ghana. We are people who love ourselves. We are people who can lead ourselves. We are people who can manage our own affairs. We are people who have the unique identity, the unique characteristics. We are a people that have our own unique selling proposition. We don't need a colored person to tell us that choose party A, choose party B, choose movement A, choose movement B. We want to see our own people in our own affairs. And we welcome anybody to play in industry, in business, as a business person, because the laws are there to help you to be able to integrate into the Ghanaian community and the Ghanaian system.
Very well. We'll be going to our next conversation. You can still continue to send your messages to us here on our WhatsApp line and on our Facebook pages as well, our social media pages as well. And let's know what you think about the issue of Shalimar and other issues we're talking about. So yesterday, it was a big day for the EC to prove to Ghanaians that indeed we're ready for 2024 elections. Now, in fact, many people who were going to vote were very optimistic about, how the entire processes will look like, and also knowing very well that the indelible mark thing has been taken off. Now, the EC says that the facial verification is enough to make anybody out there who wants to double vote, not able to do so. And so these were things that we've seen, we've heard, and we're very, 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 optimistic that it was going to go well. But unfortunately, there were late arrival of materials for voting. There were some irregularities that also happened with regards to the voting processes and all of that. And because of that, some of the, elections could not happen. It's been rescheduled to Thursday for the EC to, put things together to ensure that we'll go back again and vote. Don't forget that the NPP would also be picking their forms today. We'll dovetail that conversation from the EC point of view and see how we can make some sense out of it. But I'll start with you, Palgrave. You are not happy about the EC and how things went yesterday. In fact, many people also, feel the same way that you feel, because really, we've given too much hope to the EC. We've given too much trust to the EC. What went wrong?
KMJ, you see, this is my card. This is my card. And because of the dispensation we find ourselves in, I've moved to the constituency. So I'm resident in the constituency. I woke up very, very early in the morning yesterday, around 5 a.m., and I came to my polling station, Old Tafo Primary GHS. I sat there at 6 a.m., waiting for the voting to commence at 7 a.m. I sat there for 5 hours. Wow. 5 hours. The assemblymen had cooked food to serve. They had transported people from villages to come to various polling stations in the constituency. They themselves were frustrated. People had to go to farm. They had left the farms. People had to go to work. They had left their work. And in the end, we were not even hearing anything.
There was no communication.
We were waiting for the ballot boxes and the papers to come to Kofrodia, for Kofrodia to send it to the constituency. It was taking a lot of time. But I said that there is no way I would stay away from the voting, because it's a democratic right. And I think that for the very, very first time, and I think my history serves me right, the media has been very, very supportive of this assembly elections and unit committee member election.
The reports
with the
front pages of newspapers,
with the level of participation, and to see that two significant regions, Ashanti region and Eastern region, a sizable part of the various constituencies, have not had an opportunity to exercise their democratic rights. And the EC has come to apologize that they will do it on Thursday. I think it's not enough. I am not pleased at all. And I think that the EC should come and give us a better reasoning why an election that is supposed to be held on a particular day, 14 regions have had an opportunity to vote. 2 regions, Ashanti region and Eastern region, some constituencies have not had the opportunity to vote. Ibuakwa North, we voted. Ibuakwa South did not have an opportunity to vote. Likewise, other constituencies in the Eastern region. I think this is unacceptable. KMJ, it's extremely unacceptable. Really, really, really unacceptable. An apology letter is not enough. The EC should come and tell us the processes. Number 2, KMJ, I was the first person to vote in my polling station.
After the 5 hours?
After the 5 hours. They started around 12:30.
Whoa.
And then when I went, the machine, they turned it on. They first looked through the document to find my name. I was on number 209. Then they came to the biometric part. So there is verify by the QR code, which is this one, or there's a number that is written there for you to key in so that you can be able to load it. The machine jumped at the very beginning. So they had to restart the machine.
Not even in the middle of the process.
No, right
on the beginning.
Right at the beginning. So they had to restart the machine. So I had a lot of patience for them to restart the machine. And then they keyed in, and then I went to the next stage. But KMJ, we have had a culture in this country. The culture is that every Christmas, I must wish you a Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
The culture is that when I meet an elderly person, I'll greet the elderly person. So really, for the indelible ink, I have a huge concern that is being taken out. I can understand that when you vote, the biometric system does not give you an opportunity to vote twice. I can understand
Because
that.
it captures all your details.
I can also understand that it's an illegal mandate for you to vote twice. So the laws will pick you up. I can understand that. But for the old man and the old woman who always has known that Makotuaba, and they have given me an indelible ink into me on my bapa, that alone is significant. I cannot forget the first time I had an opportunity to vote when I was 18 years old, and the fact that I had an indelible ink. It stayed for a very long time. And I remembered, and every time you met people, they would say, show me your finger. Show me that
Some even
you
take
have
pictures of it and posted that.
Show me that you have voted. So let's have it parallel. The biometric will verify you, but give me an indelible ink. I want to have an indelible ink so that I can state that, yes, Matuaba. Then number two, KMJ, there are processes where if the electoral officer at the polling station hasn't got the patience enough to allow you to go through the processes, he can just tell you, move to the next table. When you move to the next table, they give you your paper, your ballot paper, and then you can go and vote without being verified.
Whoa.
I'm just trying to say, I'm extrapolating.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm extrapolating that if you don't have the indelible ink, okay, so the indelible ink helps you to know that you have come to vote. The biometric, if you have not been verified and you have moved to the next table, suppose that an electoral officer is frustrated with the machine and says, I've seen your name, it's captured, just move to the next table and go and pick your paper and go and vote. And then you move to the next table. It means that you have forfeited the biometric. I can understand as well that the data will show that the number of persons voted by the biometric will be less than the ballot numbers. But at that time, whoever is won has been declared. So the processes are too much for us to leave any stone unturned. I would advise the Electoral Commission to give us indelible ink. That's what we have known of old. And phase it out gradually so that everybody can come to terms to know that the biometric, we know the biometric works. We don't doubt that process. But suppose that the jam is jammed and an electoral officer is frustrated and tells you, I've seen your name, I've marked it, just go. And then you come again. But when you come again and we have finished counting, and the number of people voted is 5,000, and the number of ballots is 6,000, are you now going to run an election again? So let's really have a holistic conversation around this. And I pray that the EC would come back again and give us a better reasoning why some ballot papers and some ballot boxes were delayed. And the morale, I don't know how many people will come on Thursday to vote. And the cost that is going to come to the assemblymen and assemblywomen and the unit committee persons who are standing, I think that we shouldn't let this happen again.
So, technically, you voted.
I have.
But we don't see anything.
I voted, yes, and I can't vote
anyway
twice.
That shows that you
because
voted.
the good news is that I've been verified, so I can't vote twice. But on the intended event that we are in a major election where the numbers are more, because we are voting for 18,000 people. So the numbers are more, over 80 million people, and it puts pressure on the machine. And then a frustrated electoral officer says, go to the next table. You have not been verified. But you have voted. And you don't have an indelible ink. So when you come again and the machine picks you up, then that's your first time you are verified. But you have voted already. And then you go and vote again. But the number of people voted on the machine will be less than the ballot papers. But then that also means that you might have to ask them to come and re-vote again. But that's a long process. So let's use the indelible ink. Wisdom will state that give us the indelible ink for the purposes of the future.
I mean, for me, traditionally, it even makes sense, because it's something that we've gone through for the longest, and not even having it, like you voted, but you feel something, it's not part of you, because this thing takes a while to go.
Very much.
And all that. Adel.
KMJ, the Electoral Commissioner, Madam Jean Mensah, her deputies and the entirety of the Electoral Commission, but specifically herself, Kwaku, and the likes. You see, they are busy moving around, running their mouths. Constantly running their mouths. A few days before this election, she was caught on camera indicating that they are ready. Everything is set. On what basis do you tell us that everything is set for the elections when they are not? On what basis? These kind of things are problems. See, this is the reason why in 2020 we had a major issue with her. You're announcing an election result, and then you announce 3 different figures. And then when we say, why are you announcing 3 different figures? You say, oh, but even if, you know, those 3 figures, no matter what you do, still doesn't change the fact that this particular candidate won. But you're giving us 3 figures. Perhaps in your tabulations, there has been other mistakes that were done. Perhaps we're not seeing it. Perhaps it's 1 and it has been turned to 1,000. You don't do that. KMJ, again, we all talk about the fact that, yes, there's biometric verification. We know. When I got to my constituency yesterday, there was a man that came, he was in front of me, actually. So you can tell by his hands that he's a laborer, kind of. He's been doing a lot of hard work. KMJ, you know, when you find yourself doing that kind of job, what happens is that your fingertips, they all get hardened, extremely hardened.
Yeah.
Look, this guy came on the verification machine. His picture is there, yes, we've seen it. They confirmed it. He had his ID card, he gave it to him. He got to the place, he placed this right thumb. It didn't pick him up. He did this, it didn't pick up. They said clean it, he cleaned. They tried twice, it didn't pick up. He came back to the left, they did the right thumb, they did this one, the index. They tried a couple of times, it didn't work out. I was still standing and waiting because he has to finish before I can go. Continuously, to an extent that someone said, okay, let's verify. Once we have verified him, you know, normally, we have actually done manual verification, we can allow them to pass. And then one of the agents said no, and then I said, no, you need to verify him. Now, imagine there was no one to fight back.
Yeah.
Then he goes.
It would have been an easier process.
He would go, he would vote, but he's not been verified. Now, if that person finds himself coming back later in the day, says, verify me, and then you verify him, that would have been the first time he's voted, per the system.
Yeah.
Why are you taking away indelible ink when you have problems like this? Like, where is the wisdom? You know that your system is not 100%. You know. You know it. You know that there are chances that you would get there one day and then you'll find difficulties of people being verified. The old women. And you know, before I left the place, 2 other people had the same problem. One was an old woman who was even, you know, slightly blind. She had the same problem. Out of 1,000 people, imagine all the 16, you know, regions that we have. Out of that place, in my polling station, I could have seen 2 or 3. Multiply that by thousands and see what you're going to have in terms of figures.
That's quite a number.
It's quite a number. And it's worrying because it's not one polling station. You see what I'm saying? So you don't take away, and it's the way they even do the announcement. You just come, all of a sudden you're sitting on, you know, on the media and then you just announce anything you want. We don't need it because we're now doing what you call biometrics. Which biometrics? Then she says facial. There were no facial recognition systems at the place yesterday. It was just the biometrics for the fingerprints. So which facial? Let's not do this. Look, you're responsible for an election. That election that we're going for, all of us as a state, we're interested in it. The NDC is interested. The MPP is interested. Do not give reasons for people to say that this thing was not done properly. Don't give reasons. Because when you do that, at the end of the day, somebody can now sit down and say, okay, it was orchestrated. Something might have happened because it doesn't make any sense. You have a problem. The problem is not completely resolved. Leave the indelible ink there. If the person comes and the person is verified, fair enough, go vote. You don't need an indelible ink. If someone comes in there and then for certain reasons we're not able to verify the person's fingerprints, the person goes through a manual process, give the person an indelible ink. That's what you do.
Is it overconfidence
Right.
when it comes to the EC chair, or it's the as a word, the trust they have for wherever these machines are coming from and whoever is behind them that is making them go the way they're going? Because if like we've all said,
right,
the ink is something that you can beat,
right?
You know, because it's just physical, you
right,
see, and
right.
everything. So is it that the EC is too confident of herself, or it's too much trust for the machines they are bringing on?
KMJ, if she's that confident, then she has a problem. Because no machine is 100%. No machine is 100%. And aside the fact that no machine is 100%, she's just done an election yesterday. We've seen the repercussions. At least I have seen in my constituency. In my polling station, not in my constituency. I don't know what may have happened in other polling stations in my constituency. But in my polling station, Mount Zion B, outside, yesterday I witnessed 2 in my eyes. You have your verification machine. People would come and then get verified. If they are not being verified, or for certain reasons, they have problems with their fingerprints and they're not able to verify them, they should be allowed to do manual verification, which is allowed legally. And then when they do that, you can probably give them that indelible ink to show that they have voted because they have not been verified. This is the only way that we can verify that they have. You don't take away that when the system that you have put in place is not foolproof. Why do you do that? Why do you create chaos? Why do you want to create confusion? There's a lot of eyes on what is going to happen in next year's 2024 elections. There's a lot of eyes on it. There are a lot of people who are counting to see what is going to happen. There is no room. If it was 2020 and it's past and gone and we've seen the mistake that we made, in 2024, there is no room, not an iota, space of room, for her to think that things can be done the way it was done before and people will just keep quiet and watch. No. She has a responsibility. The entirety of this country is carried on top of her head. She has the responsibility to make sure that everything is done peacefully, nicely, and nobody would have any reason to think that something was done untoward. Do the right things. Make available options. Who even decides to take an option like this? KMJ, on what basis do we conclude that even though we have biometrics, we will still allow in the law something that is called manual verification? Why do you allow it? Alternatives. You're giving alternatives. Just in case this doesn't happen, this should happen. So why are you taking away the alternatives when it's not foolproof? Totally unacceptable. Totally.
In general, does this put pressure on the EC moving forward?
Well, the EC is already under pressure because if you are not able to deliver ballot papers and ballot boxes, and if your printing is delayed, you're already under pressure. But
she had 2 years.
Exactly.
You had 2 years after 2020 elections. You wait until 2 weeks to elections.
We would go into an election of this nature. You have known that people have not been interested in district level elections. You have known that the president, Adel in 2019, wanted a referendum that takes decisions to elect MMDCs to the local level, and you have known that another political party pulled out of the processes. So you have understood the entire structure of governance. It's important for me. And not only does the EC have pressure, the EC has a lot of questions to answer. I mean, to the Ghanaian people need to know why the EC was not able to deliver ballot papers and ballot boxes on time in Ashanti region and in Eastern region. Now, KMJ, imagine this is 2024, 7th December. You know that we have a constitution and an LI that tells us that we are supposed to vote on the 7th of December every single electioneering year. The EC has no right to say that because I delayed, go and vote on the 9th of December 2024. I mean, I don't think the EC has a right like that. In fact, the law even tells us that if you're even supposed to have a runoff in terms of there's a tie, there's also a legal instrument that tells us to do it either 2 or 3 weeks before the month December goes to an end. So really, for me, I think that the EC is not just under pressure, but we expect effectiveness and efficiency in the. I have always commended the EC, but on this, I think that it's a real big deal and an apology. And I think that she needs to come and explain to us what happened because the policemen were ready.
1 year to national elections. You're making mistakes like that. 1 year.
Is that close?
Less than a year. Less than a year.
Yeah.
You know,
it's really close because in the middle of the year you can't be doing these things.
No,
you can't be
KMJ,
doing preparations and all of that.
We have told them
1 year to do.
You know, KMJ, we have our election, the MPP election, the internal election on the 27th of January 2024. Imagine all across the length and breadth of this country, constituents, delegates will be deciding on who to lead their constituency and go to parliament. And this is our stronghold.
Yeah.
Imagine that on the day that we vote, on the 27th of January 2024, the EC says some constituencies have delayed. So your election will be held on the 29th of January. That's extra money
Extra cost,
for the delegates, extra money for the people who have campaigned, and extra money for the candidates. And morale really goes down. So for me, this is a big deal. And I pray that the EC does a lot more work in the lead up to the MPP primaries for the strongholds on the 27th of January 2024. And also in the lead up to the 7th of January 2024. This is not, you see, what the opportunity the EC hasn't got is that he cannot do a mock to prepare for this. These are her mocks. This is the state institution. These are her mocks. This is a proof. And then also, the EC stated that they were going to call off elections at 3 p.m. I mean, KFJ, please, let's allow the processes to go on. You understand? We know that election ends at 5 in terms of voting. If you're in the queue before 5, you will definitely vote before. People cannot put their lives on hold because of an election. People will go to work. People will go to farm. People will travel. I mean, if people have registered at various places, they'll travel. The length of time they travel from point A to point B and the time they arrive is important. So I would say that the suggestion of at 3 p.m. should be immediately taken out. It should not come on the table.
Why are we even in a
for
hurry to
conversation.
push the time back?
Let's keep it at 5 and from 7 a.m. to 5 and make sure that we have a good, effective number of people who can exercise their democratic rights and franchise.
Very well. Let's read some comments from our viewers today. This one over here says that, good morning to you and your panelists and to all members of the Ghana Union Movement, CAM Northern Region Executives. This is CAM Director of Communication Northern Region. I think this matter should be politicized, should not be politicized, but it should be treated as national issues. There is not anything wrong with this new force, the billboard and the personalities involved in the movement. I think a serious investigation should be conducted into the new force, even how the billboard was mounted across the country. The first time I saw it in Tamale, I was shocked and wondering, asking myself and trying to find out who could mount such a billboard and what it was all about. My fear is that we, the people of Ghana, are fighting against LGBTQ+, and I'm suspicious of this movement. Every single Ghanaian should be concerned. This is JB Dandawa, Northern Region Communications Director, Tamale. And also he says, I think I can confidently say that the machines used for the district level elections is the best one, and I was the EC official at my polling station center as the verification officer at the Kama Primary School in Tamale. We didn't encounter any issues at my place. Okay, if you try all the 10 fingers, if the machine refuses to verify you, we should use facial verification. And that's same JB sending in that one. So you probably didn't experience that in your area. Others did, and that's the reason why it's been reshadowed. So, yeah. Good morning, KMJ. The NDC man is not saying the truth. He said the facial features of the biometric machine was not working yesterday. Where I voted and where I was an agent, many voters were verified through the facial features. Justice from Riaga Sandima. Adel. Adel,
perhaps he didn't understand what I said. Yeah, I'll address that. What I'm saying is that in my polling station, I didn't see a facial recognition. What we had over there was just the biometrics. That was what I saw. So if he had that in there, that is even a problem. I mean, do some have and some don't have? That is a problem.
Yeah. Konsi Gariba from Tamale says, good morning, KMJ and Brother Danquah. NDC for you. With this district assembly elections, the NDC once again trying so hard to blame the EC and the government of the day for few challenges the EC encountered yesterday. The posture of the NDC suggesting to some of us that the NDC will lose the 2024 elections. You can't win by blaming everyone except you alone. BMW is possible. But Palgrave does not, so I agree with you. Not just Adel. Good morning, Joy Pram. This EC is trying to play smart game on 2024 election, which may bring conflicts. Ghanaians need to rise and talk against nice show this morning because no Jandam from the NPP man. He said, Ghana need peace, smart inside Bagra Eastern region. Greetings, my NDC man. The other one over here says that the issue of Shalimar, the new force, should be banned from Ghana politics because they have gone against all principle of a patriotic Ghanaian. Can a Ghanaian be allowed to wear a mask and also be a political spokesperson in Belgium? By now, he or she will be in jail or killed. Shalimar case was handled this way because of some element in the government who are working for the West. If it were a Nigerian man, by now he's in jail. The EC would caused the country a big problem before they removed her. Last time she ran out of the country after the conflict announcement, and next election she will make the wrong announcement from Europe. Okay, maybe I'll take the last one and we're done. Good morning, KMJ. This EC is incompetent. Simple. How on earth can ballot papers shots at polling station, district office, and people were still in a queue ready to cast their ballot? Many voters at Jaman South in the Bono region couldn't vote because of the shortage of ballot papers, and that caused problem. Nanaje to trouble. So we've got many of your messages over here. Unfortunately, we're pressed for time, and so we will not be able to do so. Please forgive us. Hopefully, tomorrow we'll be able to do some more of the messages. That will be our time for this morning. Let me say a big thank you to you, gentlemen, for coming through this morning. And we wish you the very best.
Thank you.
As you pick your forms today. And
thank you very much, KMJ.
I know it's going to be, a smooth battle for you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Know, when you're done, we'll keep it. Adel, what's yours?
I would actually escort him.
What do you
Thank you.
Wait.
What do you
NDC headquarters.
What do you also know NDC?
PBD.
Also know the anymore.
I'm madam for.
Can the manichinia?
It was about.
Adel bin Sheick Umar, National Communications Team member and the Director of Operations, Greater Accra Youth Wing for the NDC, joined us this morning. Thank you so much, my brother. And Palgrave Boakye-Danquah is government spokesperson on governance and security, and also incoming for Boakwa North, also joined us this morning here on the show. And hopefully tomorrow we'll come your way again with news flash. But of course, the show continues here, and we've got What's Trending coming up. And also, we'll be speaking to the new force, who also brought a lot of controversies, even at a time when the new force were just about to, have, Samanka, right?
Samanka, I know.
Yeah.
No, I've had meetings with him a couple of times in the past. It was business related though. The office at Golf House.
You have intentions of ever, being in this camp?
No, certainly not. But he's a fine gentleman. I've known him. We've done a couple of businesses together, in the past. He's a fine gentleman. But I mean,
not a presidential.
No, he's not. He's not. The time will swing.
Aye.
Umar may join the NDC.
Hey. Rosalie will come your way with that conversation on the big interview this morning here on the show. My name is KMJ. It's still prime morning here on a midweek. Please do stay.